another edition of Hanging Out with Entrepreneurs. We sit here with a very special guest, Bria Charlise. Say what's up to the people.
Hey y'all.
Thank you for coming
Hey
and
y'all.
hanging
Hey.
out with us today. We spent the whole day now. We trying to learn more about you today. Let's start off. From the beginning. Where you from? And yeah, let's start off from where you from.
Yeah, it's Billionaire B tapping in, checking in. So obviously I'm from Dallas, but I grew up in DeSoto, Texas. I went to DeSoto High School, and yeah, a little bit about me.
Went to the Southern High School.
Yes.
So let's start it off. You with your business foreign closet. Okay, what made you start foreign closet?
Yes, so I started Foreign Closet back in 2016. So I started while I was in undergrad at the University of North Texas in Denton. I started right before I graduated. When I had studied abroad back in 2014, I went to Hong Kong and China for that summer, and then 2015 I went to Europe, and that kind of inspired me to like start my own brand. But kind of like what I always say, one of my internships, which was with Nordstrom, they put me in a menswear department. So Foreign Closet basically focuses mainly on menswear, but we have unisex leather goods. So like this duffel right here that you see is coming out very soon. Some of our leather good one shoulder bags, which is the Icon shoulder bag. That's kind of where I got the inspiration from, is studying abroad those 2 summers. And then when did my internship with Nordstrom, I was in the menswear department. I was mainly in suiting. That was something that I did not want to do, Chad. I was trying to make money, and they put me in suiting. So I was like, but it actually worked out good back in 2016 when I did that, because now look at me, y'all. This is my lane. I love menswear. So yeah.
So since we talk about the beginning, talking about your origin story. So at the beginning, let's say as a kid, has it always been fashion? Did you know that you was gonna get into this growing up at this point, or did you have any other dreams and aspirations growing up?
Yes, so when I was growing up, so my mama and daddy, they're in the medical field. So like my mama, she's a NICU nurse. She works for premature babies, what she did. And then my dad was a firefighter and a paramedic for Dallas. So they always used to kind of push like, do something in medical field, always have a job. But I'm the type of person, if you bleed and your neck broke, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can give you a Band-Aid. I ain't about to be doing all that, okay? So I've always been more creative and more business like minded. Even as a kid, like I like to like make money, and I like to, just do different things like that, like be real creative and hands-on. So when I was a kid, I liked fashion, but I didn't know I would be doing it now. It's not until I got to DeSoto when I really was like, okay, I want to do fashion. This is it. This is me. I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do in fashion when I was in high school, but I knew like, okay, this is it.
Shout out to DeSoto.
Yeah, shout out to the Eagles.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm class of 2012.
Yeah, don't date her too far, man.
I know. I'm like, oh, show my age. No, I'm just playing.
So what would you say sparked your interest into fashion?
Yes. Okay. So I would say, I guess when I said like when I liked it as a kid, I get my inspiration. I love like how my Mima is my mama's mama. I used to like put on her pearls and her heels, and I have her little purses. I'll be walking around. The heels too big, 2 times big as my foot. I just love like her jewelry, and she was just always so fly. She had different furs and different stuff, so I would kind of play dress up. But then my daddy, he was that dude. Like, my daddy went to Hutch's, straight Holland Hills, baby. And he always made sure, like, we stayed fresh. Like, he was big on education, but he gonna make sure we stay fly. So a lot of my inspiration and, like, my fashion sense came from, like, my Mima, my daddy, and even my brother to a certain extent, to, like, his freedom of expression. Like, my brother, he graduated DeSoto 2006, and he had his face airbrush on the back of his jacket. So that kind of take you back to that time where airbrush was big. So I was just like, okay, I'm surrounded by this creativity and just people that's just doing their thing. So it kind of navigated, migrated to me, if that makes sense.
So would you say your family is like one of your biggest inspirations when it comes to the field and the fashion and things like that?
Yes, definitely my family. They definitely played a big part. Yes, so shout out to them for sure.
Okay. So let's speak on your family. You was speaking about your dad. I know your dad is very close to you. Can you just speak on this situation and your relationship with your father and how they go?
Yes, so I had the wonderful opportunity to have my dad in my life for the first 13 years of my life. My dad was killed due to gun violence back in 2008. So, like I always tell people, like I'm forever a daddy's girl, whether my daddy's here or not. My daddy was the peanut butter to my jelly. Like, they let you know how locked in, how tight we were. He just really put me on a lot of game, like at an early age. Like, a lot of stuff, looking back at it, it's just like, why was he telling me this? Like, when you 13, you 10, a little preteen little girl, you like, why you keep saying all this stuff, you know? But now as an adult, as a grown woman, you know, it's like a lot of this stuff, he was really putting me up on game way before my time, you know? So I always kind of feel like I always had that mature mindset early on. And him and my mama and just my family, they just helped, like, you know, cultivate that and just make sure, like, I was really where I needed to be, like, mindset-wise, moving forward. And that really helped me now to where I am as an entrepreneur, so.
As entrepreneur, so there's a lot of those values that you stick with you that you take to entrepreneurship.
Right.
So did you know that you always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and this is like something that not necessarily just in clothes and fashion, just being an entrepreneur, working for yourself, and not really having a boss or being your own boss? Was that's always on your mindset?
I would definitely say no.
Take a couple classes so for this.
Yes.
The magnet school did come in right when you were junior, sophomore.
So we didn't really. I don't think we had the magnet school yet when we were graduating.
The magnet did come to like our senior year.
Yeah, we didn't have it. I think once we graduated, that's when the magnet school had came, where you can actually like pursue like multiple classes in fashion or whatever. But like when I was at DeSoto, before I graduated, I remember taking 2 fashion classes. I took a fashion marketing class. It was with Coach Simmons. It was with Coach Simmons, and then I did a fashion design class with Miss Carrie way back in the Gap. And it's so crazy because I actually took those classes serious. Like, I was really locked in. Like, you know how sometimes you have those electives where it's just like, yeah, these kind of BS. Like, I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just trying to get the credit so I can pass, so I can graduate. But I actually was, like, locked in. Like, I really enjoyed it. So that's kind of how I knew. Like, it kind of was like, okay, I can really make a career out of this. But at the time, I'm going to be transparent, I didn't know if that's really what I wanted to do until I got to college. So when I was in high school, I knew I wanted to pursue a field in fashion, but I didn't know as far as the entrepreneurship lane just yet. You know, I was like doing stuff on my free time, but I didn't really know that's something that I could do. So,
is there something from those classes that you took back in high school that prepared you for now? Like prepared you for like the fashion design classes that you said you were taking? Did you look back on those and be like, hey, like I use that for what I'm doing now? Like, I didn't even know that I was gonna be foreign closet. I'm gonna take those classes that things I learned in Coach Simmons class and Miss
Carrie.
Miss Carrie class now.
So yeah.
Did you ever think about that?
I'm gonna be transparent, kinda, but not really. It was a few things that I could take from it. Like I said, I've always been more business minded, more goal business oriented. The design courses was really good because it taught you how to start your sewing machine and like the basis of sewing. But I feel like I really gravitated towards the business side. Like, I kind of feel like, I don't know if it's just the way I grew up or just the way my mind was wired, but I kind of feel like design is something that comes natural to me. The creativity comes natural. Like, I was more intrigued about learning the business because even like what I tell my mentees now, like, yeah, a lot of these people, like nowadays, you know, you want to get into business or you want to have your own brand and stuff like that. You naturally creative, but the business is what's going to keep you in the game. Like, understanding business, that's going to keep the longevity. So it's like, that's what I really want to focus on, like the business side, so that way I can really scale this, because I knew I had the creativity. I knew I had all that packed, or I can pay somebody to do that eventually. You know, my biggest thing was just making sure I'm locked in and I understand the business so that way I can, you know, continue to grow.
We graduated, we chose the schools. And what school did you originally decide to go to? We graduated.
For college?
Yeah, for college.
So a lot of people don't know, but my freshman year when I was leaving DeSoto, I went to Texas State.
Okay.
So I went to Texas State in San Marcos. And then, so I went there my freshman year. And to be honest, when I was there my freshman year, one semester I took an intro to social work because I love like the whole social work aspect. I really love that. But then the second semester I took an intro to like fashion merchandising or something like that. So I remember talking to my advisor and she was just like, well, we can put you in one intro, then the other intro, and then you kind of decide which one you want to do. So that way you're not really wasting your money. You know, you can kind of figure it out. So after that, I was like, okay, I did the first one, the social work, and I was like, I love it, but I'm not sure. Let me see what fashion's talking about. I did the fashion one. I said, this the one. I remember going back to her. I said, this the one. But the only thing why I transferred from Texas State, I ended up transferring to UNT fall 2013, my sophomore year, is because UNT had way more opportunities for their merchandising and fashion department. So they actually had a fashion design department and they had a fashion they did merchandising. So you could do like home merchandising, like home furnishings. If you want to do more of the merchandising on the home side, interior design, you could do more of the fashion. So they just had way more to offer, study abroad opportunities. So I ended up basically transferring to UNC. And honestly, that's the best decision that I probably ever made, honestly, in college.
Yeah, I went to UNT too.
Shout out. Go Mean Green. Always an eagle, once an eagle.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity. I had a little bit too much fun out there.
UNT was definitely fun for sure.
So you said you got to UNT and you got into more deep into fashion. At this point, are you like, all right, this is the lane I'm going to dive deep into?
Yes. So once I got to UNT, I already knew I was declared like a merchandising major. Like I knew I was transferring just to do that program once I got in.
So from people that's watching it, because you're going to have your mentees or you're going to have people that want to get into your field that's watching this. What is the steps from that point on that you took to get you to the point that you are now? Like, what is those extra steps that people may not know about that could get you, they got you at that point that you like, all right, let's do it. We finna dive deep into this fashion thing.
Right. I guess I'll start with some tips if somebody's in college, and then maybe some tips for people that's not in college, because I understand college isn't for everybody. But for those that are in college, I would definitely say you need to be networking, okay? College is cool. I turned up, okay? I had a great time. But one thing about me, I'm going to always handle my business. If my business ain't in order, then I ain't turning up. That's just me. That's just how I'm wired. So I would definitely say if you're in college, definitely take advantage of those resources. Get to know your professors. My professors, they knew me. I'll be like, hey, Mr. Rolla. Hey, Dr. Struble. They knew me because they knew my work ethic and they knew, I was passionate about what I was doing. Another thing I would say is ask those questions. I'm inquisitive. I love to learn. I love to challenge myself. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here to this day. Sometimes people be like, this is a stupid question. Nothing really isn't a stupid question. Make those connections. Make sure you network and have fun, but make sure you have that balance and really take your curriculum serious. It's so much I can go into that, but the people that's outside of school, I understand college isn't for everybody. However, start building those relationships outside of school. It's go to these boutiques, go to these people that you see that maybe you look up to on Instagram and they in your city or whatever. Maybe they not in your city. Make sure you're collaborating or make sure you're reaching out to them, but you're also providing value. I think we sometimes live in a era, especially in social media, people just want, but people aren't contributing. I always had that mindset. It's if I saw people while I was in college, they had boutiques and I wanted to shadow them, I'm shooting my shot. I'm reaching out to them via DM. I'm emailing them and I'm like, hey, I'm finding a need that they probably don't even know that they need, or it's something that they need and I'm providing that value to them. So for example, it was a boutique in Dallas and I saw her social media wasn't really just the best. So I was like, hey, I shot my shot. I wasn't even really looking for money. And that's another thing too. You can't be so quick to be trying to do everything for money, because a lot of the best experiences that I learned was for free. Hear me out. It was for free, okay? You have to be a student of the game. And if you want to be in this industry, and you just automatically trying to look for a check, you most likely not going to last that long. And I'm not saying do everything for free, but if the opportunity presents itself and it aligns, why not go for it? And with me putting myself out there to help her, that actually helped me out, because it was I shadowed her on the weekends when I would come from Denton to Dallas. I shadowed her and I helped her with social media, and in exchange, she showed me how to run a fashion business. So that's a give and take, because that's free game. That's free learning. You get what I'm saying? So it's all about your mindset and how you play your cards right. So yeah.
Being in that, let's say you're in that similar situation and somebody hits you up, how do you deal with those type of critiques to your
Right.
business and deal with those type of, because a lot of people got business and you tell them a certain type of way or you tell them something they don't handle it and it's kind of like backfire and explodes. So how do you handle critiques when they come to you about business?
So are you saying like critiques, like somebody critiquing my business, or
Yeah,
they?
critiquing your business. Like
So what do you mean like critiquing my
let's say you in
business?
a similar situation, right?
Okay.
You say you had somebody like you reach out and be like, hey, I see what you're doing and such, we can do this better. How do you handle that?
So if they coming to me for my
Yeah,
business,
for your business.
could you elaborate more on that? I just want to make sure I'm answering the question right.
Let's say, all right, let's say I hit you. Let's say I see something on social media. You have like for a closet. I'm like, hey, Bria, I like the way you're doing this, but I feel like this way you can make it better. And
Right.
stuff like that. So how do you handle that situation? Because a lot of people, business owners, because you're entrepreneur, you have
Right.
a business.
Okay,
A lot
I
of
get what
people,
you're saying.
When they
Okay.
get that, they take it a different type of way. They don't know how to handle it. So you was
Yeah.
thinking on how you formed a friendship and formed
Right.
a mentorship off that person just by critiquing. Everybody can't handle it that way.
Right.
They let it handle it the right way, but a lot of people can't
Right.
handle it that way.
Well, I guess one of the things that helped me is anything that has something to do with business, I remove my personal feelings out of it because I like to be open-minded, especially if it's younger people. Like I have this now, like, I mean, I'm not old, but it's people that may be in high school or college where, they may come up to me and be like, have you thought about doing X, Y, and Z? I'm the type of person I can learn from anybody. I'm open to hearing you out and listening, but that don't mean I have to do it, but I'm not going to shut nobody down and be like, okay, that's dumb. Like I encourage like collaborative thinking and effort and stuff like that because you may see something like Gen Z, for example. I'm a millennial. Gen Z, they way more tapped into me with like TikTok, for example. So if I have somebody coming to me and show me like, hey, have you thought about doing this? Okay, I'm gonna say, okay, let's run it. Like if I'm rocking with them, I like their character. It's more into it than me just accepting what they saying. Like if we meet and I kind of like them, I'm gonna give them a test shot to see like, okay, if you think this is work better than a process that I currently have, like I'm gonna give you a shot to see like if this is really working. So basically, I'm open to that collaborative, effort, but this is still my baby, so I'm not just listening to any and everybody because some people don't really know what they're talking about, So it's that point of like discernment really like kicking in and like that alignment, like, okay, let's feel this thing on out. So I would say it's processes to it.
Okay, we're gonna go back a little bit again. You said you interned for Norshals and they sunk you into the biz department. Like at the time, you wasn't really into the mids. You was just like, all right,
Right.
what it is. So what about the mids department that like, all right, this is the lane that I need to come in and conquer and take over?
Right. I guess because when I started my internship with Nordstrom, my mindset, I had a lot of experience with leather goods, working at Michael Kors, and this is before I started working at Louis Vuitton. A lot of that was working with women, and I'm a woman, so a lot of this, when you work in this was a retail management internship, so in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, I need to be making money. So back then, I'm thinking of my comfort zone. Put me in the purses, put me in the shoes, put me in the women's department so I can make money. I relate to those women. I can run it up. That's how I was thinking, but God had other plans. He put me in the menswear department, not just the menswear, he put me in suiting. So if you know about suits, a lot of these men was probably twice the age I was. So a lot of them probably when I was born, they was in their 30s then, so that just lets you know how much older they were and how much experience that they had. And just being completely honest, being fresh out of college, it's just like, at first, it was a little intimidation because I was the only woman in my department and I was the youngest in my department. So I'm thinking like, every time, people ain't buying no suit every day like how they going to Nordstrom to buy some pants and some shoes, stuff like that, because the suits starting off at like $600 plus. So that's not something where that department is booming like the other departments, So with it being commission, making my money, I'm like, I felt a little intimidated because I was just like, okay, how am I supposed to make money? Like, they've been going to Mr. Isaac or whatever for 15 years. They not about to come rock with me, It's just like, but I remember talking to my mama and talking to my family, and they really helped me shift my mindset because they was like, you just graduated from this. And a lot of the men, I have a lot of men in my family where I'm really tapped into, and I really appreciate their feedback. And they was like, you need to tap into what you just got your degree in, your experience working in luxury retail. And they was like, you really got the advantage because you just told us you're the only woman in your department. And they was like, you tap into that. A lot of these men, they want the opinion of a woman. So they was like, you need to tap into that. Use that charisma, use that beauty, stuff like that. I would dress up in my old little Michael Kors outfits and my heels. And I would just start making combo. Like I had to start building my clientele off that, just using my personality and using me just being authentic. Like, hey, what you looking for today? Like, I'm new, but hey, I think this will look really good if you pair this tie with that. Just like I said, let my personality show. Like, I'm goofy, different stuff like that. So eventually, like, dudes was coming in, they was like, okay, like I'm rocking with her. Like she cool, like she really got an eye for the attention, was not including like my beauty and stuff like that. Like I was just using that as a leverage to reel them in a little bit with a little charisma, but after that it was just, strictly business, like, hey, let's do X, Y, and Z. And I would definitely say that experience really opened up my mindset to the menswear industry, because the menswear industry has so many untapped opportunities where I feel like people don't know. And I'm sure like even in like working with big and tall men and stuff like that, it's like a big bubble where it's just like with my creativity, it's like a challenge for me, So I got in there and I learned and I asked those questions and I had those guys. I'm like, try this on, because I'm not a man. I don't wear a 34, 32, so I can't be like, yeah, try them 34, 32s. They fit in a way, so blah, so I'm not a man, so I couldn't relate. So it was other men in the men department where I'm like, okay, Eddie, try these on. I know he tall, try these on. I know he got a little belly. Mr. Sam, put this on. So, because now visually I'm seeing like, okay, I know these certain brands is going to fit for this type of body type. I know these colors is going to look well with this skin tone. I know X, Y, and Z, so I just started playing it like that.
Okay, so when you first got into the department...
Sorry, I know that was a long answer.
No, you good. You explained it very well. So when you first got into that department, like, was there a type of mindset that you have? Like, would you... Because you said, you didn't want to do that. You get what I'm saying? You weren't really into the men's. So, like, how did you break yourself out of there? It's like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. Like, how did you put yourself forward? Because a lot of people, when they face that type of adversity, especially like fresh out of college, either you think you just going to go straight into your field, or you going to go straight into your little dream job, or how you want to do it, and you turn it to, you hit a pivot, you know what I'm saying?
Right, definitely a pivot.
A little adversity. So how did you deal with that mentally?
Right.
That's a lot, knowing that you're not able to do what you want to do. So how did you handle that mentally?
Yeah, that's a great question. The way I handled the adversity was just like I said, like really switching my mindset. Like I had to really like get real with myself and really tap in. It's like, okay, this is before I called myself Billionaire B, but I had to tell myself, like, you big B. Like, you just graduated. You do have the experience. The only difference is the gender. Yeah. All these fashion brands, the only difference between Louis Vuitton and Louis Vuitton and Michael Kors is those brands carry just their brand. Nordstrom carries multiple brands, so I had to get familiar. And what I would do is, too, like, we commission based. So if I want to make money, I need to get familiarized with the brands that they carry. I need to be familiar with other brands outside of suiting, because that was another thing that I was really good at, is upselling. So yeah, we start off with a suit, but if I know the other brands, if I know the different people that have the different socks and all these different brands that Nordstrom carry, I would get on the Nordstrom.com website, and I was just really a student of the game. And the way I applied that knowledge, like I said, was having those guys in the men's department with me try those things on. So now not only am I challenging myself, I'm touching the fabrics and stuff, I'm quizzing myself when I get home after work. I'm learning these brands, but I'm applying it with having these guys try the stuff on. So now I have the visual aspect. So it's like when a guy come in, he like, hey, I need help with a suit for X, Y, and Z. I'm a groomsman. Okay, I'm looking at his body type. I'm like, okay, I know that this brand, the Nordstrom brand, and this brand's gonna look good for him because he got a little belly and his shoulders are big. He has a more athletic build, maybe, so I know which brands I can point to him instead of being like, it's just like, and then you gotta think about it from a psychological standpoint. Men shop differently than women. So when I worked with women, we're more emotional based. Men are more logical. So men don't want to be in a store a long time. So it's like I had to be confident in my abilities of what I was bringing to the table, and I had to be secure. Like, I know this gonna work. Like, if I'm not confident, they not gonna be confident in me. So I know, like, we're gonna try this suit on. We're gonna try these 2 different brands. We're gonna go in the fitting room. I'm taking lead. You get what I'm saying? Because women, we like, does this look cute? Does this, men like,
Is it comfortable?
is it comfortable?
Does it look all right?
Yeah, is it functional? What's the price? You know, like, get in, get out. So that I had to switch my mindset on that. Because I can't be like, oh, that look cute on you. Guys ain't trying to look cute. You get what I'm saying? So I had to really pivot. But like I said, it was all about my mindset and just me being that lifelong learner. And I was like, okay, I'm listening to my people, and I know I can do this. Like, let's get it, you know? So, yeah.
I want to ask you, too, is there a difference between, like, let's say, working with an older person and a younger person when it comes to that type of situation? When it comes, like, picking their style and trying to figure out what they're going to wear. Is there a difference?
Definitely a difference. I would definitely say, but I feel like it's a difference, but it's all about your approach. Like, for example, some of the older clients that I built, like, they were more old school. You know, they would still like the pleats in their pants a little bit, you know, stuff like that. But one of the things that I would tell them is, which led into me becoming a wardrobe stylist after I left there, but it led me to challenging them, because sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, men, y'all stick to your comfort zone. And one of the things that made me stand out was, not only am I giving you something that you're comfortable with, but we're also going to try something that's going to complement you, but it may be something that you never maybe tried on, because I want you to visibly see that this looks good. Like, this is more modern. It has more of a modern fit. If you don't like it, that's cool. We still got your comfort zone that you used to, but I just want you to see it. And once they see it, they like, oh, this fit pretty cool. Like, I rock with it, and it's within my budget, you know, different stuff like that. So it's like, I'm challenging you, but I'm also helping you too. Like, it's no pressure. You don't have to get it if you don't want to, but I also want to challenge you, because you never know. Like, you may want to change something up and add something new in your wardrobe. So,
okay, got a question. So, let's say I come to you, I hit you, I'm like, Bria, because you are a wardrobe stylist. So I'm like, I hit you with Bria. I got some motion going on. I'm going to be in front of the TV and all that. Okay. I need you to help me out, and I need to get this right. What's the first step? What's our first step?
So the first step in working with me from I call myself a wardrobe architect.
I like that.
That's just how I brand myself as a wardrobe stylist. But my first step will be a consultation. So think of a consultation as a first date. You don't know me, I don't know you, but we need to ask these questions so that way we can figure out, for one, are we a good match? Okay. Let's just start right there. Does your budget allow, like, or does it permit my services, my fees, and the different things that you're trying to do, you know? Now, I work with all type of budgets, but I'm just saying, like, budget is a big factor. Do we mesh? And then I need to get some information about yourself, you know? Like, I need to know, like, what you don't like. Like, I get deep into the questions, like, what's your most confident feature of your body? Like, I need to know those areas, because if you say your arms because you've been in the gym, then we need to do a little flex, you know? Like, you've been in the gym, so let's show it off. But if you say, like, my least confident feature is maybe, like, my thighs, or, like, my legs, or, like, my feet, like, I'm not going to give you no sandals if you say you don't like your feet. You get what I'm saying? It's like little things like that, or even, like, your colors. Some colors look better on different skin types and different people, you know? So different things like that. Even when it comes to prints, some prints don't look right on everybody. I'm not trying to have you being too far out and off the grid where it's just like, what do you have on, you know? But like I said, I'm still going to challenge you. So basically the first step will be a consultation.
What made you come up with the name Foreign Closet? Because it goes hand in hand. So
right.
What made you come up with the name Foreign Closet?
Okay, so it is very laid back how I got Foreign Closet. Literally, I was at UNT right before I graduated, and like I said, I was a merchandising major at UNT, and I wasn't design, but in the meantime, like in between classes, like I would sketch and have all these different things. Like I was even sourcing fabric back then, and I didn't even have a brand, you know. But the name came about was, I remember I was about to go to Frost Street, and I had all these different names, and I knew my first like drop was gonna be fall of 2016. That was gonna be the debut of Foreign Closet. And I remember talking to some of like my homeboys and stuff like that, since it was menswear, and I was asking like my best friend and stuff. I had different names, and I was like, I remember telling them I want something foreign, and I kid you not, like I was listening to 56 Nights by Future. Shout out to Future. And if you look at the 56 Nights album cover, it's in like an Arabic writing.
Yeah.
So I remember I was changing, you know how you change your Apple Music on your phone to go to the next song, and one of the songs from the album had came on. And I was like, I want something foreign, so I had looked at that. And I was like, okay, foreign. But I was like, foreign what? And then I remember I was on the phone with my homeboy, and I had him on speakerphone. I was literally in my closet looking for somewhere to Fry Street. And I said, what about foreign closet? And he said, I kind of like that. He said, that's kind of hard, little Bria. That's kind of hard. And I was like, foreign closet. I said, okay, but I don't know if that's it. Like, let's go back to the drawing board. So first I had a different name. It was like Underground something. And then, but it was just some of that foreign closet. I was like, this is kind of different. And I kind of feel like foreign closet when I think of underground, whatever I had, that kind of gave me just streetwear. You know, it's just like, well, foreign closet gave me where it can be street, urban, or contemporary. So when you think of contemporary, maybe like a Zara or something like that, where I can sell like turtlenecks and denim jeans. It just seemed more timeless. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do foreign closet, and then I released it, and then I remember one of the first designs we had was in Arabic, and so yeah.
I remember that.
Yes.
So you said foreign, and you studied abroad, and you with the parents. Did they have any like input into the name? Or was that afterwards?
So the name was after. So summer of 2014, I was able to study abroad to Hong Kong and China. And that was really lit because I was able to go to some clothing factories out there. And I was actually able to work on the machines. Like, they let us work on the machines and, like, test it out. Like, I remember I have a picture where I was at a knit factory, and they were showing us how, like, they do, like, the knit factories for all these different companies. So, like, when I went in 2014, that was more so on the manufacturing side, which played a huge part of what I'm doing now, the sourcing. But also, people forget, when I was out there, I learned a lot about the logistics. So I was a logistics and marketing minor with my major, but the logistics is a very important factor, especially when you manufacturing overseas, because you have different ways you can do it. You can do it by air, you can do it by, by the ship or the boat. And we were able to go to those container stores, and it's one thing, I'm the type of person, it's one thing to be in school and be reading it in the book and like the lectures and stuff, but to actually see those containers, like when we went to the container port off the little sea or whatever, we saw Macy's, JCPenney's, we saw like all these different big brand Target. So I thought it was a really cool opportunity. And then the next summer I went to Europe. So we went to Scotland, we went to Paris and London, and that was just more so the design, the retail aspect, and that was really cool.
Because you feel like that helped a lot with
For sure. For sure.
So you recommend people like studying abroad if they can?
If you can study abroad, if you're in school, I definitely recommend it. Or even if you're not in school, if you could just travel out the country, like I really recommend that. Even if you do like hair and stuff like that, like go to these Indonesia or wherever you source, like meet those people, like feel the hair, like get that experience. It's gonna shape your mindset with the culture and the opportunities.
Does that help build with like the relationships?
Definitely help with relationship building for sure.
Let's shift gears before we get you out of here. We spoke earlier. You were speaking about your dad and how much influence he has in your life and how you carry his legacy on. Can you speak on that? I know you have a foundation in his name.
Yes. So back in 2008, I lost my dad due to gun violence. Back in 2019, I started a foundation. It's called the Charles E. Whitaker Jr. Foundation. And that basically focuses, the three pillars that we focus on with my dad's foundation is gun violence awareness, youth mentorship, and mental health. When people think gun violence, they just think just homicide, but gun violence could be domestic violence, it could be homicide, and it could also be suicide. And gun violence, even before all this stuff has been happening with these mass shootings, like gun violence is something that people can relate to. Even if it's not something that it happened to you firsthand, somebody knows somebody who's been affected by gun violence. Like look at the school shootings and look at people committing suicide, or I know people that's been in domestic violence situations or lost a loved one due to gun violence with that. So this year's year 5. It's been a journey, but I just try to remove my own self out of that because it's bigger than me for this foundation for him. And it's really, I really love the youth, and I'm very big on mental health. Like, a lot of mental health issues tie into gun violence, so, and really my biggest thing is just to continue to do this every year. June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. So like I said, it's year 5. We have an event this Saturday. We're doing a sneaker design and storytelling workshop. So we're partnering with a lot of different people, Nike, Chick-fil-A, all that, and it's going to be a vibe.
During the course of this interview, we talked about you partnering and linking up with all these different brands, where it's from Nike, you said Nordstrom's and things like that. So how important, because this is entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur, how important it is to make these connections and be able to network? Can you just let people know how important that is?
Yes, I think having corporate sponsors and partners, that's key. Like, of course, they have more like plug and more like flexibility to do different things versus me as a small business and still growing. So it gives me that leverage and just that credibility, because it's like, when you think of a partnership, it goes hand in hand. Nike, Chick-fil-A, all these people, they're not about to be partnering with somebody that they don't feel is credible or they don't believe in the vision. You get what I'm saying? Like, my biggest thing is, when you are trying to reach out to those people, be authentic, but make sure you have your story. Like, what is your story? Storytelling is big. Like, people want something that they can relate to, So a lot of that's just me just putting in the work, having that experience, and just showing them like, hey, like, I know I'm dope, but let me show you why I'm dope. Let me pop my stuff real quick, But not only just corporate sponsorships and partnerships are important. I always encourage people to network with people across and horizontally, like even us, like we're up and coming, like reach out to them, because you never know all of us in this room where we'll be in the future. Like, we're already doing dope stuff now, but as we continue to nurture those relationships, like, I don't try to get so caught up on the corporate ones all the time. Like, I just network with people who I feel like I relate to, if it's aligned. So I don't want to just put too much emphasis on corporate, where people like, I have to have a corporate, partnership in order to make it. Like, no, like, I already been popping my stuff before they even got on board. It's just like, this just gives it more like, yeah, I'm just using this as more leverage, because it's like, again, you want to go into it where it's like, yeah, it's a Nike, but how else are you contributing to what they already have, even if it's on a local level, So it's all about your mindset and how you can play on it and how you can help them, because at the end of the day, people, they want to be able to gain something from it too, So I'll touch on a little bit of what I'm currently doing. Of course, running my business, trying to scale it and grow it from the nonprofit side, and also for the for-profit, which is Foreign Closet. But in the meantime, like I said, I'm a lifelong learner. I just love learning. I'm currently in like a tech boot camp, you can think. It's a 4-month program, and you get like 6 certifications after 4 months. But these are really good, like, certifications, 6-figure certifications. So I just feel like, hey, the opportunity presented itself, so let me just run with it. And I kind of feel like in the times that we're in now, like, you need to be learning a new skill. Like, you need, whether if it's you honing in on your soft skills or you need some type of technical skills. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how I want to apply it. Like, if I want to apply it to like a more of a contract role, because I'm not opposed to, if the opportunity presents itself. Hey, if it's like a Google and they want me to come in and help them with their systems and stuff, I'm gonna run it. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, I can also take these skill sets and apply it to other small businesses, so that way we know how to understand our processes and continue to grow, because that's really what these technical skills are. So I really encourage everybody right now. It's like, if you're not learning, like I said, honing in on your soft skills or your hard skills, you need to be learning some type of technical skill, whether if it's Photoshop, any Adobe products, like whatever it is, project management, like whatever it is, like, this is the perfect time to be learning. And I like tech. Like, I think tech is cool. Tech is the future. Look at AI. Tech ain't going nowhere. So it's like, not saying you have to do tech, but I'm just saying, like, learn something technical where you can apply, even if it's some of the trade school, like, doing something with your hands, like what is it, the HVAC or something? Or HVAC or something like that. Like, learn those skills, because it's like, hey, you ain't gonna never be out of job. I had a mentee that was in high school. This is a high school student. He wanted to be a plumber. So I helped him find some programs where he could be a plumber. And it was so crazy because his classmates was laughing at him, but I was like, really the joke is on them because everybody need a plumber. Google need a plumber. Everybody gonna need a plumber. So that's why I was like, jokes on them. If you want to be a plumber, you're gonna be the best plumber in the city or wherever you go. So yeah, I'm like, I wish I was thinking like that, back then, because it's like, I definitely would have been taking advantage of this. Like, my mom and them was putting me in AP classes, and that stuff is cool, but, yeah, put me in, dual credit, forget all that, because school is cool. Look, don't get me wrong, but you really don't need an education unless you're trying to be, like, in the medical field or stuff like that. Like, the way you can learn now is so different. Yeah, so my thing is, once I have kids in the future, they're going to be in school if they want to, but they learning a skill. So when they learn, when they get out of school, like, they can start making money while they in college or vice versa. Like, you want to mount TVs? That's a skill. Everybody want their TV mounting. You get what I'm saying? You want to cut hair? That's a skill. Everybody want a fresh fade. So it's like, you want to come do my hair. You want to do braids? Yes. Come do my braids.
Always.
Yes. That's a skill. If you're good with your hands and you're handy, or like I said, just a technical skill, tech isn't going nowhere, y'all. Like,
it's only get better.
That's where the way of the world. Go to Walmart. You see two people out there register. Where you see self what? Checkout. And what is that? Technology. So it's just like,
somebody got to troubleshoot it.
Somebody got to troubleshoot it. Somebody got to build it. Somebody got to deploy it. Somebody got to, like, it's a lot that you can do. If you be like, I can't fix computers, it's way more things you can do. Yeah.
Before I get back to Rex, kind of last thing, as far as just last piece of just advice or just last thing you want to say to just anybody that's aspiring to be an entrepreneur, scared to take that chance. Bills, everything is high right now, so a lot of people don't want to leave their job to go pursue their dreams.
Right.
You have. So, is there anything you can say to these people that can just encourage them in any way?
I'm just gonna say, if you scared, go to church. No, I'm playing.
That's true though.
I'm just playing. But I'm gonna just keep it a buck though. Entrepreneurship, yes, cool. It look good on social media. Yeah, you quit your job, but now what? Have you thought about what are your living expenses? Like, what is your survival number? Like, because I know a lot of people say, I'm going to quit my job. I was in that predicament Friday, April 19th, 2019, when I quit my job. I didn't know what I was doing, y'all. But that was the best decision that I've ever made. Has it been ghetto? Extremely. Do I regret it? No. Should I probably did stuff differently before quitting my job on a limb? Definitely. So I'm not encouraging quitting your job. You can definitely follow your dreams while you're still working your job because you're going to need that money and that capital to back you up. However, if you do decide to quit your job, you got support. That's your personal business. But just for inspiration, we only get one life, y'all. Like, whatever it is that you want to be, like I say, go for it. And something that my grandma always tell me is nothing makes a failure but a trier. Meaning, at least if you tried it, it didn't work out, that's cool. You tried it. It didn't work out. Maybe go back to the drawing board. If you just like, entrepreneurship is too hard, I'm going to just stick with my job and whatever. You do that. You have to do what's best fit for you. But I am a firm believer of following your dreams because, like I said, you do get one life. And I kind of feel like it is a lot of people out here that is not living in purpose and they are complacent and they are doing stuff for the money. So you really have to just tap in with yourself and be self-aware of what that is. I talk to a lot of mentees. I got a lot of mentees that are guys and they sports. Okay, cool. Sports is cool, but what else can you do? Like one of my mentees, he played football, but we don't know how football gonna look, but he's good with numbers. So I was telling him, it's all about your mindset. You may not, I'm not gonna say he's not gonna make it, but I'm just saying worst case scenario, if you didn't make it, you're good with numbers. You love accounting and stuff like that. Well, your partners that go to the league and stuff like that, they're gonna need an accountant. They're gonna need help with money management skills, all that type of stuff. So that way they know how to manage their money when they do get that money in the league. You know, it's different ways how you can play on it where you can still be tapped in to sports, but you're not directly throwing a football or, you know, like shooting a basketball or swinging a bat. You get what I'm saying? I just use that as an example because I get a lot of mentees that like basketball player, football player. And it's like, I'm all for it. Go to those camps. You can do it. More power. But if you get hurt,
gotta have that backup plan.
what's the backup plan? I don't want you to be so fully caught on to that where it's just like you lacking in the academics or you lacking in your purpose. Because your purpose could be to be helping out these athletes. It may not be playing football directly, but you can still be tapped in with, the athletes. And I just use that for example. So not to throw no shade to nobody.
No disrespect to all y'all trying to make it to the league.
Yeah, I get it. Y'all still watching y'all highlight tapes. I get it. But what else can we do? Like, you can still be in that lane. You can still do you. But what else can we do if that's not working out? I said if. I'm not throwing no shade. If it don't work out, what are we going to do with your skill set? Is it coaching? It's a lot of people that's coaching now. That could be your passion to help others avoid the mistakes that you made. Is it nutritionist? You gotta be in shape and eat good in order to play sports. You get what I'm saying? It's all about your mindset and how you look at it. So it's like, yeah.
Man, it's a wrap. We appreciate you, Bria.
Thank you for having me, y'all. Thank you. I had fun hanging out. I had fun. Invite me back again. Make sure y'all follow me. More gyms.
Give us social media and everything you got going on. That's all that's up.
Yes, so I have a lot of great things coming up. Like I said, my lane is more menswear, but I do stuff for the women sometimes, so y'all can tap in as well. And I have some really great things for the men coming up. It's called Men Matter Too, and this is strictly for the men. So y'all want to make sure y'all follow me, tap in. I am Bria Charlise. It's I-am Bria, Bria, Charlise, Charlise. That's on Instagram. Follow me, and I follow back, y'all. So thanks, y'all.
She's gonna get into men's wear. We're gonna make sure we get some big sizes in there.
Yes, big and tall. It's coming. I know you've been on my line for the past few years about that. I ain't forgot about you. So
let's do it.
Let's do it.
This is the Hang Out Network, and we just hanging out.
Toodles.